Does dating in any way change as you get older? Yes. Stephanie Safran is founder and head of Stef in the City, stefinthecity.com, which is all about polishing up your image and style and getting you together with somebody. And it's different, Stef, because when you're in your 30s, you've been there, done that, and you kind of been around the block and dating for a while, and so has everybody else you're meeting.
Well, you hope. When people turn about 32, they begin to find that their friends are starting to have, especially they're hitting the tail end of when people are getting married, that it's all the time. And by the time they hit 35, they realize, I might not have as many people to hang out with. I might not have as many people to go on vacations or to call them.
They're all married.
They're all married. And some people, maybe some of the other people also, maybe they're a workaholic, or maybe they're not interested in the same way that you are in terms of life goals.
So when you're younger, you've got school. Then when you're in your 20s, I guess it's the bar scene is the big pickup joint. But when you're moving on, where do you go to find potential significant others?
Well, you have to get out of the routine. A lot of people get very stuck. They go to work, they come home, they go to their same dry cleaner, Starbucks, and they work out at their house if they work out. And you really have to get out of your comfort zone and make sure that you're doing things.
Didn't I see that in a Tom Hanks movie or something? I don't know, not Sleepless in Seattle.
You've Got Mail?
Yeah. Was it? No, he was the guy who was in New York and was the bookstore, Mondo-sized book. Anyway.
But it'd be outdated at this point with the bookstore. You can't hang at a bookstore anymore. Yeah. There aren't any.
You hang up at the Cyber Cafe.
One of the things I definitely recommend is that people need to join a co-ed gym and go during busy hours, or do a beach boot camp. Do something to get out of your comfort zone to meet people that you're going to see on a regular basis. Because the bars, you're going to see people, if you're 35 years old, the people there could be 22 and you're really going to feel old, or they could be in their 50s. It changes where people are not all at the same point in life. And
you go to the bar, you go to the workout club. So sweaty bodies, is that really a turn on?
It's like, maybe let's say you work out 5 days a week. 4 of the days you go and you're real serious about it. One of those days you're kind of social about it, and you go more in the social angle. Maybe you go to classes that interest you because you want to be able to find other people that you can bond with, whether it's even a new person to go out with that might introduce you or to new things, maybe new parties to go to, new bars, new activities. I'm also big on doing athletic activities that require you to form a commitment. There's like a single softball league, so that's an 8-week commitment. Or do beach volleyball, or do something that you're going to continually see the same people, so it's not just a one-night thing. It makes it much easier to form connections with new friends.
Religion, very important issue for a lot of people. I was reading, I think, a Huffington post the other day, and the woman said, I didn't think religion was that important, but I started finding that as I was dating, it really was.
Some people who are very interested in meeting someone who's Jewish or very Christian, you really need to focus in on going on an online dating site that focuses towards that to specifically meet people, or joining an actual location where you can do activities, whether, if it's a church or a temple. You really need to go and join.
Volunteer things that the organization is doing.
Volunteer. You need
work.
to be in. You need to ensure that you're going to have people with similar views, and the general population is not necessarily the best place. That you're going to have a very small pocket of people. So you want to widen your opportunities.
I'd really figure out what your passions are. So if you're a real bookworm, you'll want to join book clubs. Look for volunteer work that aligns with your passion.
You need to do things a lot of people get that idea if they're single that they should only be going to single things. And when you are over 35, you kind of have to really plan out your social life in a way that you do things that you enjoy, that do have potential to meet people. You have to look at the opportunities to meet new people to hang out with, because a lot of the people that you may hang out with, they may not be the right people to do some of your social activities and to meet new people.
And enlist your friends. I met my wife, we've been married 16 years, through a mutual friend who set us up. I mean, that if you really tell your friends what you're looking for, they can be a real help.
Well, you have to realize that things are not always immediate. So you might plant the seed out there and say, I'm looking, and they might not come back to you for 6 months and say, okay, now I met somebody. But you need to plant the seed and not expect there's always going to be instant results. And that's what happens with a lot of people when they're trying out and they're single. They expect when they go out, when they go online, that everything's going to be instant. And if they tried it once or twice, I did it, but it didn't work. You really have to give certain activities. It might be a bad night for the activity. You have to give more chances and be open And at least at a goal, if you don't meet someone you want to date, you have to try and meet new friends to go out with to connect you to new people.
Yeah, and stay in circulation. A lot of people are waiting for Mr. or Miss Perfect to come by, and they remain on this mental checkoff list that they keep trying to fill the boxes in on.
Well, I've certainly talked to people, and they're uncomfortable. I've talked to people who are 40 and say, I don't want to date someone who's divorced. And I say, why not? They said, well, I want it to be the first time. And I said, there's no guarantee that if you date someone who has not gone through life circumstances and things that they've dealt with, divorce, kids, there's no saying that a person who hasn't gone through it is going to be more apt to do it, because some people get very comfortable and it's not easy for them to compromise, and they have a view of what that person looks like, and they can't even get that far where they can't get into a 6-month relationship.
Let me give you 15 seconds. You got a success story you can share from StefAndTheCity.com?
Well, I did talk about how my intern, I did fix her up. And I fixed them up, and she wasn't expecting it, and neither was the person that she was. And they're official on Facebook now.
Good things can happen when you least expect it.
And it's all ages, because they're young, and you'd think younger people would have more opportunities. But it's really, whether you're in your 20s or 50s, it's not that it's harder for people. It's how you put the opportunities out. I've known people who are in their 50s that made a relationship really quickly, and I've known people in their 30s who've had much more difficulty.
StefAndTheCity.com is the place to go. Stef, you do know what you're talking about. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.